Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Chosen Architect. Today we're jumping back into some more FTB Skies, and today we are going to be getting ourselves some storage. That's right, integrated dynamics, baby. Let's go. Now, getting back in this today, boy oh boy, do I have some things planned. Now, last episode I left off getting up some of the basic resources automated, and we've got this done. And things are looking pretty good. Like, we've almost filled this entire chest. So storage is going to be a priority today. But I did want to mention this one problem I ended up having. And thankfully, we get these item transporters from quests, which are really handy because they have a built-in filter. And unfortunately, if you use gravel, it is going to break it as if you're a player. And thus, that means, well, sometimes you're going to get flint. And you need to handle that flint before it goes over here. Because if it goes over here, it's going to clog up this pedestal because it only has its one upgrade or one storage slot without any upgrades. So I just have it simply pulling out of here quickly using the item transporter as a filter with this as a whitelist. And you just have to click the middle button here to get the items to send back and forth like that. So very simple. Now we're going to be coming back to more of this stuff today. And well, our quests should bring us into some more things. Now we do have a ton of stuff to go ahead and complete. Like, we've gotten our backpack, we have all of these food things which give us flint, and there's also some handy things that we've gotten. There would have been a cutting board that we would have gotten. We get some Phytogrow, which is kind of nice, some extra bone meal. We even get some flowering lily pads. Those are from Hexerai. Down here on the pedestal part, we get some augments, so I'll definitely take those augments. We get a golden mushroom, or not mushroom, marshmallow as a quest reward, and we also have a shape builder and some builder seed. But the shape builder is a fantastic tool. I can actually show that to you right now. Now, if you're on any other island and you start off with nothing, basically, this is a great tool because you can place it down and it'll define itself as its target point. Later on, you can apply upgrades, but you can go circle and show preview, and then you can change the height here. If you set the height to 1 and increase the size, it gives you a preview you can use to build like perfect circles and shapes and domes and things like that by hand. What a cool little tool. Also, if you give this bad boy some power, later on, it can build for you. All right, so now let's get into the fun part. We are diving back into our getting started, and we are going to finish this page up today. 100% going to finish this up. We need to get obsidian, we need to get ourselves nether bricks, and we also need to get dirt all automated, and we're even going to get started with making soul sand so we can get quartz and access to all kinds of fun stuff. My end goal for today is to dabble a little bit in Botania and then hopefully get into integrated dynamics, which I think is going to be one of the best early game starting storage mods in this pack. Now, starting off, I'm going to need a few of them diamonds that I've been farming up over there with our automation. And we need to get obsidian, and the way we get obsidian in this pack early on is by just simply digging a hole, placing the lava, and making sure it is connected up to a water source. Such as this, there's a water source connected right here on the back, and that turns it into obsidian. Otherwise, you can just place water directly on top of it, and it would also convert it into obsidian. So very handy here. And then we got to go through the process of breaking it. Thankfully, though, in the quest, we do get 8 in return, meaning we really only need 1 more to be able to make a portal. Now, with our janky portal made up, we do need to go into it at least once. And that's because in the quest book, we actually get rewarded an exoflame. And an exoflame is going to help us out greatly when getting into Botania. I can tell you, though, that here in the Nether, there's not much here. So you're probably going to want to just go back after coming to this place. Yeah, we can definitely set up farms later on, but there's really no big need to be in that dimension. All right, so let's go ahead and accept our quests, and we get a portal charm, which allows us to instantly teleport through the portal. And then we have a floating exoflame, and that is going to be an easy way for us to get started with Botania. Now, I'm going to be breaking this because I don't want the sound to linger. I eventually will have an area, I think, set up better suited for this. I just wanted my Endoflame. Sorry, not Endoflame, Exoflame, which I believe runs off of lava. Now, before we dive into Botania and get into our storage upgrades, we do need to finish out the last parts of our automation. We need to get dirt set up. We also need an area so that way we can put in soul sand, which we're going to be generating. And then we also need to have crushed netherrack set up and automated in the same way that all of our other stuff is running. I did add room for expansion, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Now to get nether brick, it does tell us inside of the flavor text here that we need to get into the occultism to be able to do this. We need to make a spirit fire for that. So we need to get the seeds to get into occultism. If we click here, we'll be taking here to the demon fruit, and we need to figure out where to get this. And it looks like all we have to do is break tall grass in order to get this seed. And I don't think I already have it yet. Yeah, I don't think I have it. So bone meal it is on some grass, and look there, we got it right away. So this is the demon, or yeah, the demon's dream seeds. This is some cool stuff, actually. Let's go ahead and place this down and bone meal it. And there we go. And we get this demon's fruit. Now, you can eat this, and it has a chance of doing some weird stuff to your vision when you do eat it. I don't know if I can finally get one to do it. There we go. It'll do this if you eat it. Now, normally in occultism, this will allow you to see very special trees and stuff like that. But for us, it's just crazy trippy what it does. Now, we do need that fruit, though. So let me go ahead and grab a few more. We have tons of bone meal, by the way, that's been generated from our dust, so I'm not super worried about it. But we're going to need our flint and steel, and we are going to need our demon fruit seed. Now, you can place this pretty much anywhere. You just toss it on the ground and light it. And notice you can stand in it and stuff. You don't have to worry about your stuff catching on fire. But this will be a place where we are going to do some conversions of materials. And I think that brick is one of them. So it tells us inside of our quest book on the getting started that nether brick by tossing bricks into the spirit fire. So if we toss bricks, we get back nether bricks. So all we have to do is toss them in, and then we should have enough to make nether bricks. Now, nether bricks underneath these pedestals here, this is what is going to give us netherrack. And so we're gonna have to do the same process that we're doing over here. And thankfully in our quest, it gave us more of the crushers. So we are looking pretty good on iron hammers. So if you happen to miss last episode when I set all of this up, be sure to check that episode out, because this is a really important part of how I'm expanding everything and how we have this actually set up and automated. But you can see all I have to do is extend the sifter. Same thing goes for the other side. I'm actually going to put a little section in here, actually. I know I have a thing, but I should be using that. Should be using my axe instead of this. But right here, we're actually going to set up the same thing that we have going on here. I will have to extend this out one further in order to get this to function properly. So let's get this, because I don't want it connected to that. It's going to cause it to go the opposite direction. But there we go. I'll end up having a double storage here and probably set up the same thing on the other side. But for right now, it'll be set up so that way whatever I put in this will go in here versus it actually generating something. So what we're going to set up for this, I'm probably going to change the way this is functioning, have a storage somewhere else that this is connected to. But we are going to set up our generation for dirt, which I haven't made the item for yet, but we are going to get dirt auto-sieved, and we're going to get crushed netherrack auto-sieved. Now, at the moment, I'm doing a lot of crafting, and to make that crafting a tad bit easier, I can upgrade to a crafting station. And while you may experience some bugs with this, like as far as FPS drops and stuff like that, it is a pretty good alternative to an early game storage. But we're going to be getting into that later on. But for right now, we can set up a little storage system like this, right? Where we place down our chests, just like this. All I gotta do is get all of my items transferred over into these chests. And I can actually craft out of them using JEI by interacting with this. So this is sort of like the old Tinker's Station, where it would interact with a chest, but this interacts with all the chests that are surrounding it. Now with this setup, it's actually perfect because we need to craft ourselves some dirt. Now, if you're looking to get rotten flesh, which is one of the ingredients of the compost we're gonna be making to get this set up, you get it from fishing. So I did get it from fishing, and it is inside of one of my chests. But to make dirt, we are going to need organic compost. This is going to be what we are going to be setting up. Now, we do need straw to do this, and I'm pretty sure we have some straw. I just didn't put everything in here. So if I throw this inside, you can see we can then use this crafting little setup here. Like I said, it's very temporary because you only have 4 chests, but we can easily, bam, make some composts. And that is an entire chapter pretty much complete. As you can see down here, we have everything we're going to need done. Oh, we also get a feral pumpkin. That's going to be kind of a fun thing to use. Let's go ahead and set this up though, right? So we can put dirt here. And then over here, we need to put our brick. So here's our nether brick. And then we have our 2 pedestals. I have my main pedestal right here. I did move this chest up. I'm sure I'm going to do something with this later on. But we just put these on top. And like we've done before, those are going to generate all of our resources. There we go. That's generating dirt. And that's generating the bricks. And then same with our exporters. We need to put this on actually all of them that are back here. So this one and this one, which is actually going to be for our soul sand we're going to get into here in a moment. And then this in the back. And then we can use our linking tool, again, to go ahead and make sure that everything is all nice and linked up. If I can make my way out of here, which I'm going to have to go all the way around to do. But yes, we will shift right click, making sure that goes in there. And now that should be sending to this to be crushed. It does. Do I have this? No, it is working. There it goes. And there's the crushed netherrack being produced. And then over here, let's shift click and then shift click here. And then that should link. And then we shift click on this. And we shift click here. Now, there's nothing in that pedestal yet, but we can easily put items into the pedestal. And that's kind of what this is all about. Well, now the last thing we need to do is set this back up, get our fire back up and running, and let's grab some sand, and we'll toss all of the sand in here, and that gets us soul sand. There we go. And then we put this into here, and that should hopefully pull. I think it's within range. It should pull into this, or so I hope. Aha! I think it's working. Yep, it is working, but working in the wrong way. I guess I ended up linking this all funny. So I'm going to have to undo the link that we have because it's sending it back and forth, and we don't want that. We want this to be linked to this. And it should now send. Yeah, there it goes. So just a little bit of wonkiness I had to get over, but there we go. And we have soul sand, so anything we put in that needs to be quickly sieved can be done, and this is going to grant us nether quartz. By the way, if you were wondering what this fell pumpkin actually is, well, it's from Botania, and just be very careful with it. So I'm going to be putting a slab up here, and I hope this is enough, but you take iron rods, you put 2 down, and then you put this on top, and it creates a blaze. And the reason I put that up there was so the blaze wouldn't fly away. Now, this will drop a pretty good amount of blaze powder, but doesn't actually drop rods. So keep that in mind. But yeah, there you go. Little tip. Now, out of all of the storage mods that I took a look at in this pack, there is one that I think is going to be the most achievable and easiest to get started with early on. Now, my end goal is, of course, probably go to refined storage, but refined storage has some complexities in it that make it a little bit more difficult to get into than just going standard refined storage, right? There is some custom recipes for refined storage. Just for example, let's take a look at the controller, right? It is going to require parts from Applied Energistics to actually get into this. So this does have relations to that mod. And so you are going to have to go through all of those processes. Plus, we don't have Certus quartz as far as I'm concerned right now. It looks like we get this from something later on, probably some crystals or something like that. I'm sure the quest will tell us. Totally looks like villagers are a huge part of this pack, which they kind of are, and we haven't gotten into villagers just yet. So before we do all of that stuff, I still want to get a simple storage setups going. Now, it will require a bit of crafting to get this done, and we are going to need to step into Botania, which we're going to need to do anyways. Botania is how we're going to get ourselves the mana mesh. And we could get it from elsewhere, but we are going to actually dive headfirst into a teensy little bit of this mod. So the main thing we're going to need to do is just get up to getting a mana pool started and get ourselves a mana pool, get ourselves a pure daisy and a petal apothecary, all very simple, and getting ourselves some of the flowers. Now we do get a little bag for our flowers. This is kind of helpful for knowing what all flowers we have. Don't worry about the tall variants. It's only the regular size ones that we're going to be looking for, which I believe is just the top row. And we have bone meal, so we can make the actual flour for this. So let's go ahead and turn this into bone meal, into white dye. And we should be able to make mystical, I think it's called Vitania mystical, or fertilizer? Fertilizer. It's just called fertilizer. I thought it was called, yeah, floral fertilizer. I thought it was called mystical fertilizer. And we just place this on our grass, and it's going to generate all of the flowers. We're just going to try to generate most of the flowers. Our goal is to, of course, get all the flowers. So we're going to have to check our flower pouch to find out if we at least have all of them. And I think that completed this quest, which gets us even more. And we get a floral obedience stick, which is very interesting. I actually don't know what this thing does. Now we need to make a petal apothecary, and oh, the petals look so much better now than they used to. Oh, this is kind of cool. So here's a petal apothecary, and we can place this down, and we can use our bucket to fill this with water. And we're also going to need seeds. So at this point, it might be a good idea to just grow a bunch of wheat. And we did get lucky because one of the quest lines actually gave us a hoe that has Fortune 1 on it. And like, you can't beat that. Like that's too nice of them to give us a Fortune hoe. So I believe if we put this in our offhand, plant the seeds, we might have to right click this to get the bonus once it's fully grown. I don't know if it can actually work in our offhand or not. I think it can. It should. It doesn't seem like it does. But at least Fortune 1 is not a crazy amount. Yeah, but we should see like doubles on seeds. So these are very important because right off the bat, we are going to make ourselves a pure daisy. And this is a very important flower, more than you know. So let's take this, and we'll take our flower here, and then we are going to actually place this on the ground, the petals themselves, and we're going to bone meal them. And this is going to get us a double tall, and we can actually break this with our fist. You had to in the past. You would have to use shears, but not anymore. So we take this, and we have ourselves doubled now our amount. We don't want to run out of these. So I'll place 4 in here, and then I just toss my seeds in, boop, and I have myself a pure daisy. And this can be placed right here on the ground. Very handy. And what it's going to do is convert stone and logs into a different variant. And it does take a little bit of time to do this, but it is going to take this stone and turn it into living rock. So once you give it a little bit of time, you'll get yourself all of the living rock and living wood that you're going to need from this beautiful pure daisy, which is also the same flower that's on my head, by the way, which is a supporter perk for me. Just I like to thank some of the devs of some of my favorite mods. Of course, Botania is one of those mods, and of course Quirk as well. And it's a huge thanks to Vasky, and this is just a simple gift in return. Now, because we already have that Exo Flame, we should be able to utilize that Exo Flame. We are going to need a mana pool, and we're going to need a mana spreader. And we should be able to use this. So we're going to need gold, and we're going to need this living wood that we currently have, and a petal. And so now we really have the 2 items that are going to be integral to our development here. And it looks like, oh, we get a bonus here, right? We get a floating pure daisy as a nice little bonus. We get a tiny potato, which there's actually a stat that counts how many times you pet the tiny potato. Oh, we've got to definitely do this. And you can put it on your head, as you can see. The tiny potato is adorable, though, and it can hold items for you. Of course, you got to pet this every day. Guys, what should we name our tiny potato? You've got to decide in the comments now. The fact that we got a floating pure daisy is kind of awesome, really. because we're able to utilize this. I'm going to take some of this and make brick to make an enclosure, because this has the power to actually generate snow for us, and ice and stuff like that. So if I surround this with some water, this Pure Daisy will actually start to change this water into, I believe, either snow. I think it's snow. Well, then we can make snowmen and stuff with pumpkins. All right, now enough of that fun. We do need to place down our mana pool, and we do need to craft ourselves a wand. And I think the wand has actually changed from Botania. Since last I had made this, we need to make the sticks. And so there we go, sticks. Oh, and this just converted. Yes, it does turn into snow. So we just got some snow blocks there, which is kind of nice. We can use a shovel to collect that. And it looks like we can choose whatever color we want. Of course, you probably know what colors I'm going for. I love my orange and cyan. Those are my favorites. Look at all the petals. Man, the petals are so cool looking now. But there we go. Orange and cyan. That's my favorite wand. And, well, we're almost ready. Now, I was thinking that this was the flower that uses lava. Definitely not. This is kind of the opposite. This flower, when supplied with mana, because it's one of the functioning flora, when supplied with mana, this will actually heat up our furnaces, allowing them to run without fuel. So we do still need to make an Indoflame. So this is what an Indoflame is. It's just 2 brown, 1 light gray, and a red, and we should be able to get away with just a couple of them. So this gets made the same way the Pure Daisy does, is we just place 2 of those, 1 of those, and 1 red petal, and then we get ourselves an Indoflame. I'm gonna make 6 of them because the 6 is the opposite, the optimal amount for a single mana spreader. So to get the mana up and running, let's go ahead and place our mana spreader down, and then we'll place our Indoflames. I like to place them in a row right behind it. And then we shift right click with our wand, and then shift right click on here to link, and we're good. So we're about to have a bunch of mana. All we have to do now is supply it with some coal. And we can just toss the coal down here, and that should take the coal and start to generate our first little bit of mana. Now, using our wand here, we're able to see how much mana is in here. Now, as it fills up more, we'll be able to visually see it. But we see we have a teensy little bit. I don't know if that is enough just yet, but I do want to convert, and it looks like it is. And this is the whole reason we set this up, was to be able to get a mineral sapling. That's right, this is the tree that I really want to grow. And it is going to allow us to get into integrated dynamics, and that is going to be how we start our early game storage. Now, this tree is really interesting in how you are going to chop it down. So it does need a little bit of space, as you can see here. And when you chop it down, there's actually different types of wood in here. So this is a mineral log, whereas this is an enriched mineral log. And these are kind of nice as well, but you have to chop them down before the whole tree starts to come down. Now, this is going to lead us into the drying basin, which is going to be an add-on to something that we've already been using, which is the squeezer. And the basin is where our materials are going to go into, the liquids are going to go into, and they're going to dry out and turn into their dry form. Thankfully, your fisher over here actually fishes up ink sacs, so it makes it a little easier to go ahead and craft up some black dye. You could, of course, get black dye from Botania as well. The petals can be turned directly into dye themselves, which is very, very handy. So we put this together. It's going to be the same setup that we have been using to make lava, except we're going to put our mineral log in here and then just jump up and down. And this is going to squeeze that out into some of the precious materials that we're going to need, which is this crystallized mineral chunk, but it's going to be in block form. And then we're going to be moving on into integrated dynamics. So now that we have those resources, we're pretty much set and ready to go. The main thing we're going to be working towards getting is our crafting terminal. Now, this is a crafting job terminal, but the storage terminal, I believe, is the thing that we are going to be needing. The crafting job terminal, I think, is the thing that allows us to to craft, but we also have the portable storage terminal, which is a portable version of the regular storage terminal. And then the other thing we're going to be working on is item interfaces. These are what's going to connect to our chests. And then we just need to make cables. I mean, it's pretty straightforward to get a storage unit up and running. We just have to make all of the little ingredients that are required in this mod. Now, the only component that is a little bit odd and out of place out of everything is this glass. So to get the glass, you just have to place this glass in here, fill it up, and this will actually turn into mineral glass, which is this nice little bluish glass. Later on, there are machines that you can upgrade to that'll make this process a lot easier. But this is the glass of illumination, which is going to be very important to us because this allows us to make the actual storage terminal. And so here we go. We have a storage terminal. The only other thing we need to do now is we need to make a wrench that's going to allow us to break these things way easier than by hand, because it's almost impossible by hand. And then we need to make a few logic cables. Logic cables are going to be incredibly important. That's how we're going to connect our inventories. And then I'm going to need, for right now, just a little bit of this. So let's go ahead and make these. So there's 8 of them. Really, we only need 4 because I'm actually going to connect it right here where this crafting station's at. And for right now, we just need 1 set of logic cables. So I know my inventory is a hot mess right now, but let's go sort of clear this out to make this a little bit easier to understand. So I have my wrench, and let's go ahead and break the crafting table for right now. And this thing, I guess, uses a pick. I have no idea. But what we're going to do is we're going to place these on the sides like this. And then we need to place this right here. And then all we have to do is place this connected to it. And technically, all of our storage is now here and is searchable. And then we can also craft from it as well. So all of these chests, as you can understand now, as it's a little bit more visual, are all connected to this simple device. And any chest you want to add has to have a logic cable hooked to it. And so, yeah, we can craft just about anything we want. Let's say we want to make more logic cables. There we go. I can now craft the logic cables right out. And whenever I exit this, it's going to try and put it back into the storage. And then it tells us how much item worth of storage we have available. Pretty cool. And we have all of this to work with. I mean, I love integrated dynamics, and I think it is honestly one of the simplest starting storage solutions in this pack. So, well, it is that time. Now that we got our storage set up, it is time to ask you guys the question of the day. And that is, when did you start playing Minecraft? I would love to know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget what to name our potato as well. Well, guys, it is now that time of the video where we give a huge shout out to the supporter of today's video. And that is going to go to Seamly. Thank you so much for your amazing support over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. And if you guys are interested in supporting me as well, you can either do that here on YouTube with the join button, or you can become a member over on Discord, which is another great way to show your love. And I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are what keep the videos pumping out daily. Guys, I really appreciate you. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button already, now's a great time to do it. And follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/chosenarchitect. I would love to see you over there and hang out. I do stream from time to time. So be sure to check that out. And that's the best way to get notified when I do go live. I'll see you guys, of course, in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching. All right. I got a good one for you. All right. Why are there no cars in Minecraft? Because the streets are always blocked off!